Hi, everyone. Welcome to Power for Parkinson's Powerful People. I'm Nina Mosier, and I'm the executive director and co-founder of Power for Parkinson's. And today I am going to be interviewing and talking with Hannah Timm, who is from Rune Labs and StrivePD. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Power for Parkinson's Powerful People. I'm Nina Mosier. Sorry about that. We always try not to do that, but there we go. Anyway, I'm really excited to introduce Hannah Timm today, and she's going to fill us in about herself and about a really cool tool for managing your Parkinson's symptoms. So Hannah, welcome. Would you like to tell our audience about StrivePD and about yourself?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. So my name's Hannah. I'm the clinical systems engineer at Rune Labs. So I kind of do a lot of these support group talks, introductions. I work with clinicians to help them implement StrivePD into their clinical system and train them on how to use the platform and what kind of data they can see. And then I also do all the fun kind of coding data upload stuff, all that nerdy data engineering stuff in the background as well. So kind of that's my split of my two jobs. My background's in biomedical engineering. And so that's a little bit about me. I'm in the New York City area. I do love Austin though, very much. Excited to be here. And then Rune Labs is the name of the company. It's a startup out of Silicon Valley, California. And we created StrivePD, which is the app that I'll be going into in a little more detail today. And it is a HIPAA compliant patient data management system. So fancy words for saying that it is an application on the iPhone and on the Apple Watch that can allow patients with Parkinson's disease to track their symptoms and log their medications and get a lot of really useful data to help improve their lifestyle and make changes to their routine, whether that be implementing new exercises into their activities in their daily routine or a new medication, and kind of opening up that discussion with their doctor a little bit more because all the data can be shared back to their physician. So anything like that, it's kind of an all-encompassing tool, hopefully, for patients living with PD to give them a little bit more control over their disease state and in their Parkinson's journey.
Okay, that's so cool. So maybe can you just kind of give us an idea, like what kind of, I mean, I know you can track medications. What are some of the other things that you focus on? What does the app look for?
Yeah, so Rune Labs is technically a neuroscience data company. So we love data. It's really important to us. And there's quite a few things that we kind of pull from in terms of data. So we have some passively collected data and then some subjective or that manually inputted data. So in terms of the objective data, we do have a partnership with Medtronic. So Medtronic, if you know it well, is a DBS company. They do a lot of other stuff too, but we're focused on their DBS implants. And so we are compatible with the Percept device. So the Percept device can download information and is reading the brain, has that LFP brain sense technology. So we can show that displayed for the clinician. And then on the patient side of things, Apple has some really cool tools that's passively collected. So basically that just means that all a patient has to do is wear the watch, and all of that information is going to be gathered for them regardless of if they interact with the app at all. And for that would be gait, sleep, falls, heart rate variability, activities. So we are linked directly to that Apple Workouts, which I know is really popular for people to use. I use it all the time as well. So we can pull in all of that information and show it to patients and to clinicians to help better drive care. And then we also created a objective measure of tremor and dyskinesia. So a transducer sensor that tracks resting tremor and dyskinesia in Parkinson's disease. We received FDA 510(k) clearance for that in June of last year. So that also sits in the background and records any tremor or dyskinesia that's coming up for a PD patient. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that the patient can manually input as well to keep track of. So a lot of information there. I always like to call it a toolbox. So there's a lot that can happen with the app. There's a lot that you can do with it, but it might not all be applicable to you or super useful to you in your eyes. But hopefully you can find something in there that can help you in your everyday life.
Okay. So I'm really curious this a little bit, but let's say like someone is going to go for their daily walk or exercise with Power for Parkinson's, and they do a class. And is there a way that they could see, like, my tremor was, at a certain amplitude or intensity beforehand, and then afterwards, or that their stride was a certain length, and then afterwards it might be different? Is it that sensitive that it can?
Yeah, so that's exactly what we built the app for. So there's a way to log all of those kind of activities. So a walk, for example, you can log it / if you record on your Apple workout, it'll pull it in. And then we give you back that objective measure of tremor and dyskinesia. So I can show you probably the line graph. So we'll give you the line graph of whatever the tremor and dyskinesia the patient is experiencing, and you'll see kind of, when you did that activity versus where your tremor was at in comparison to the rest of the day. You can also look at the data from like a week ago, like a week out, 2 weeks, a month worth of data. So you can kind of use that to compare how you were doing. Maybe I always say like vacation is a good example, because people tend to be, relaxing a little bit more. Maybe there's like a little bit more food, a little bit more alcohol. It's a little bit more chill outside of your everyday routine. And then you come back from vacation, you get back into like your workouts, whether that be like walking, or I know Rockstud Boxing and kickboxing is really big in the Parkinson's disease community. And maybe you see a difference in your tremor, dyskinesia, your mobility metrics as well. So all of that you can take a look at and see how it compares.
Okay, so within our community, within our population, and I mean, obviously people are diagnosed with Parkinson's at any age, but the majority are older. A lot of our community sometimes has trouble. Well, all of us have trouble with technological challenges. And tell me about like the ease of using the app, and what kind of help maybe you provide for people trying to use it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I definitely understand that. I think that we tried to make it as usable as possible. So a fun fact about the app also is that it was created originally by a patient with Parkinson's disease. So Aura Sopis created it back in 2011, I believe. I could be wrong on that date, so don't hold me to it. But she did create it, and she has PD. She was very sensitive to medications early on, had a lot of side effects, didn't like the tools. So she created it for herself, and she was like, I think other patients would really like this. So gave it to Rune Labs, and that's what kind of brought it into this kind of next generation of the app. But with that, we keep her on our patient advisory board. So we are looking for constant feedback from patients to make it as usable as possible. Biggest way I think that we are able to do that is with our Siri logging. So for people who are having a bad tremor, dyskinesia, motor symptom day, having trouble with that dexterity, they can log everything and utilize the app via Siri. We also try to make it hopefully as intuitive as possible. I won't speak for everybody, but we did try to keep that in mind. And then we also have a team of really wonderful patient specialists. If anybody who's watching this has the app already, they've probably interacted with one of them. They're a great team. They do Zoom video, Zoom meetings like this, because we're all stationed all over kind of the country. So they can meet with anybody and kind of help them answer questions, guide their setup, get them up and running. We have an extensive library of videos also and guides. So we try to send those out as well, to help people in the off chance that they can't meet via Zoom or they're having trouble with that technology also. So we have a few different things that hopefully combined will get people up and running and make it feel less intimidating.
Okay, that's great. And what about sharing your information with your doctor? Like, does it do the clinicians, they have to be kind of registered with you, or how does that information get transmitted to them?
Yeah, great question. So we do have a clinician partnership program. So they do have to be partnered with us. We have over 150 sites across the United States. So they're all over the place. Texas, I think, actually has the most, which is fun. Just like a fun fact. They just caught on to the technology very quickly. But it is a free app. So even if you don't have a physician partnered with us, anybody who has an iPhone and an Apple Watch, or even just an iPhone, for just the app itself, can utilize it, and they can show it to their doctor, like on their phone, that way. But to share it directly and for the physician to have kind of full access to the data, that we're collecting for that patient, they have to just be partnered with us. There's quite a few, like I said, in the country. Otherwise, patients kind of bring us to their doctor sometimes. We have a lot of doctors reach out to us directly. So we're always kind of adding new partners there.
And then if they are partners, now I know one person who got a free watch. How does that happen, or what's the situation with that?
Yeah.
Access?
Yes, yeah, great question. So we do have some partnerships that allow for us to give no cost or low cost devices. The best way to check that, because there's a couple of different things that go into it, in terms of like, I don't like money, like grants and funding for it, is to go to our website and then register. So we have a drop down menu of all the sites that are partnered with us. And then after filling out that registration form, you receive an email, and we'll let you know if you're eligible for a free Apple device, whether it be the phone or the watch or both. So you can get one or the other or both if you need it, depending on like your site's status.
Okay. Oh, that's really good to know. Okay, so I really want to, it would be, we talked about you sharing your screen so you can show everybody that. I just have one other question before we do that. What about the issue of privacy or security with your personal information? I know a lot of people are concerned about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And definitely something that gets brought up a lot, especially because I feel like we're in the age of like Big Brother, and like AI is really big right now. So it's all patient-owned data. So basically, it's your data. So if you have the app, you have the iPhone, we're collecting it. It's the patient's data. So if at any time a patient doesn't want to be on the platform or wants us to get rid of their data, they just reach out to us and we can wipe it from the system. We also kind of we also have like the promise that we're not going to like rent or sell your data. So, and not to, like, I feel like I always try to give this disclaimer that it's not that your data isn't cool, but most people don't want it besides your doctor.
Yeah.
Your doctor are the people who want it the most. So, we've never had an issue with people being like, we really want this data, sell it to us, or we'll pay for it or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but we do make that promise. So you're really consenting to having us have access to it. For us to analyze it. So we have to be able to view it and do research on it. So we have kind of like these cohorts we have, and we'll reach out to patients from time to time. So that's also a consent that you can sign of special trials that are coming up, whether it be like on our side, like we're doing different studies to try to advance the app. Or trials that we have with partners. So we have some pharmaceutical company partners. We have the Medtronic partnership. So we can let patients know kind of ahead of time, like, hey, there's a trial. If you're interested in it, we'll give your information to them and they can reach out to you. And then your doctor, obviously, you give consent to them viewing the data. We've had patients who said, hey, like, I don't want my doctor to view it, but I still want to use the app. That's fine too. If you don't want your doctor to view it, it's okay. We don't care if you share it with your doctor. But yeah, we try to keep it as transparent as possible as well. So it's also all on our website. So you can see our privacy policy as well, and you can read through it. It's pretty long, but it will give you every detail of what we do with the data and what it all means.
Okay, good. We got a question from Shaking in My Boots on YouTube right now, who just asked, do they have to sync their Apple Watch with the app? And also, should they wear it on the side that they have the tremor?
Great questions. So yes, so when you download the app, it should automatically download like the mini Apple Watch app. So it doesn't have to sync in terms of like you shouldn't have to do anything extra. It should automatically like connect the two. If for some reason it's not, I would say reach out to us at our support email that's on our website, because we can help you troubleshoot that. But you should be able to just download it on your phone. And if you already have an Apple Watch, it'll automatically give you the little StrivePD Apple Watch bubble. So they should sync automatically. You shouldn't have to do anything special there. And then I would say yes. So you wear it on your most affected side. If you feel like you have equal amounts of tremor on both sides, pick whichever one you're most comfortable with. But otherwise, yeah, the most affected side or the side that has the tremor and dyskinesia is where I would wear it.
Okay. All right. That's great. Yeah, actually, two people asked that question, which side they should wear it on. So that's good. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and have you share your screen, and you can show us what the app looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I'll start by going into this, and then let's see if I can screen mirror and you can see it okay and it doesn't look completely crazy. Otherwise, all right. Can you see
I can see it.
Okay, you can see my phone. Yeah, I was gonna say you can see my background. It's embarrassing.
No, we can't see your background. I can see your screen.
You can see my and me. Okay, so you can't see my phone right now.
No, just your screen.
Okay, maybe I have to.
It says low burden user experience.
I need to do this way then. I think this is the issue.
Okay.
Everyone, sorry. I know I'm like making a good name for myself as the engineer over here. All right, let's do it this way.
The screen sharing is black still.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it should be technically it should be because I'm waiting for it to sync up to this.
Okay.
I tested. I also tested this earlier. Why won't you connect?
Maybe because we're going through various apps or systems.
Oh yeah, it doesn't like all of the apps that we're using.
Yeah.
All right, I can do it. I can do the slides as well. They're just like they're less don't want to be like less intense. They're less fun or
yeah.
active.
That's okay. We'll get a good sense, probably.
Okay, great. I'll show you that. All right. So let me just go through this. So this is what the app looks like overall. So just getting an idea, try to make it as low burden user experience as possible. And that includes the Siri voice logging. So if anyone's having a particularly difficult motor symptom day, they can log via Siri. And then we have quite a few things you can do, like I was saying before. So you can log a lot of items. So you can log anything that you're feeling, so symptoms or side effects. So like anything from like incontinence, headache, anything like that can be logged on the app. Medication or supplements, you can set up a medication schedule and it will ping you if you set up your notifications, so you can keep track of your compliance. And this can be any of your PD meds. It can be like vitamins if you take a lot of those, anything like that. And then influences, high protein meals, sleep, activities, which I'll show you another slide and go into that in a little more detail. But Rockstud Boxing we know is big. Yoga, walks are super good for you. Anything like that. Triggers, so stressful events. We have a patient who specifically logs when his mother-in-law is in town as his stressful event. So that can be logged as well to keep track of. If you have a DBS device, you can log information regarding that, any changes you're making to it. Notes. These will pop up as either like a free note or it can pop up to give context within another thing that you're logging. So let's say you fell or you kind of fell, you were dizzy and you caught yourself, but you weren't sure how to really classify it. It can just give a little bit more information. Or maybe you went to a really cool event and you want to share that or want to remember it. You can log that as well. Motor diary. So we give you this information. You can see it here on the left. We'll give you your own graph of what we're collecting as tremor and dyskinesia, but maybe you're feeling something and you want to keep track of that as well. I know it can be hard to differentiate between tremor and dyskinesia sometimes. So this can be really helpful if you're logging tremor and then you go into your app and you see that you're logging tremor, but it's coming out as dyskinesia. They can be really hard to discern. So it can just be like helpful for you to get a little bit more information and an opportunity to just realize the differences, even if they are subtle, and to better understand what's actually happening. It can also be good for your doctor to see like you're recording tremor and the watch is picking up tremor. So things are all accurate. Everything's working properly as well. And as you can see in this little graph, we try to give that tremor back to you, tremor and dyskinesia data back to you as much as possible so that you can see how what you're logging is affecting those symptoms. Whoa. So we also do the spiral drawing test. So that's another aspect of things. So the spiral drawing test is something that people might do in clinic a lot, but it's a great way to track your progression of your motor symptoms. So basically the goal is to just try to keep it inside this little line and can comparing the different spirals as you're doing them. So maybe you do them 3 weeks ago and then you do them again today. You can see if there's any differences of how you're doing that day.
That's cool. I have a question while you're going, maybe you're going to show us. Does the tremor can you see your tremor versus your medication, like time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's perfect. That's perfect timing because
that's what you're going to show us.
Yeah, exactly what I'm doing. So on this right side, this is a little example of it. You can see these little bubbles, these little lollipops, we call them here at the top. The little pill is your medication. And then this little icon is your activity that you did. This one kind of looks like yoga. But you can see how you're taking your medication and how that's affecting your tremor and dyskinesia. So the tremor is in blue, the dyskinesia is in green. And so hopefully what you're going to be seeing every day or over the course of a week, month, 3 months, however much you want to look at it, you're seeing these medications and you're hopefully seeing that your tremor is going to start to go down after you take your medication. You can also, this can be really helpful if you want to have a discussion on timing. So maybe you're waking up a little bit earlier, but you're not set to take your medication until like 10 a.m. But you're waking up at 7, and the minute you wake up, your tremor is really bad. So maybe this is a good time to be like, I'm waking up at 7. I feel like my tremor is bad. I see that my tremor is really bad and I don't get to take my medication until 10. Might be a good time to talk to your doctor about like maybe we can move the timing of the medication to fit better with my lifestyle. And then you can adjust your other medications as needed. Same with activity. So hopefully you're tracking your activity, which like I said, this will be pulled in directly from your Apple Watch if you're using Apple Workouts, the health kit. And hopefully what you're seeing is over time, especially that the more consistently you're walking or you're doing yoga or you're just keeping active, you're seeing those tremor and dyskinesia symptoms going down. And you can compare that. So you can do the day, the week, 2 weeks, month, and 3 months. So you can compare through those different time periods and see how you were doing 3 months ago versus now, if you've like implemented a new routine or started a new medication even.
Great.
Yeah.
That's so helpful.
Yeah, we hope it's really helpful. We also have a partnership with Rockstud Boxing. So if anybody does do Rockstud Boxing, coaches can also have access to the data if desired. So they can just help tailor maybe their exercise program or their Rockstud Boxing program and help individuals a little bit more specifically there. But that's kind of an overview of the app itself and what is all involved. I'm sorry I couldn't screen mirror to show you my app. To be fair, my app doesn't have a lot of really cool information because I don't have Parkinson's disease, so my data doesn't look as nice and pretty as like this data. But yeah, there is a lot, like I said, that you can do with it. Our big hope is that you find something in there that's useful. We have some patients that use it mainly for like medication adherence tracking so that they can keep track of their meds and share that back with their doctor as like kind of like a score. Because if you do have a partnered doctor, they'll see your medication adherence score. So I'll see if you're doing like 100%, you're hitting your meds all the time, or if you're not so good. So it does kind of, help with that accountability aspect. Or even just that passive data. So if you're just wearing the watch, you're going to get these graphs and you'll be able to see how your tremor is doing over the course of time.
That's great. Is there any separate graphs you get for your gait or walking speed?
Yeah, so right now, we're working on integrating it better into the app itself, but you can check all of that in the Apple Health Kit, and then we give it all to your doctor as well. So any of those physician partnerships, they get all of the gait metrics. So they'll get average walking speed, double support percentage, and stride length, I believe. So they'll get those and they can compare those back. Those can also be really helpful. We have a couple PTs a part of the platform. And those are obviously really helpful for those kind of interventions.
But the on the patient side, you can't see that information, the stride or well, I guess you could see the stride. Yeah. Can you see the gait stride length?
Yeah, so you can see it in the Apple Health Kit. We just don't have it in the app as of yet. So we're hoping to integrate it into the app, but it is available to you. So all of that's being pulled from the Apple Health Kit. If you're familiar with it, it's like that. It has like a whole bunch of stuff, but that all just does live in there. So we're working on pulling it into the actual StrivePD app and integrating it into there so it can be better visualized alongside like your tremor and dyskinesia data and all of that other data.
Okay, well, I think that sounds, really cool and something I think a lot of people could benefit from. We have a couple other questions that came in, so let me just, let's see. Stacy was asking about, can the tool track episodes of freezing and of dystonia?
Great question. So those can be logged. We don't have a sensor to track dystonia or freezing, but they can all be logged symptoms. So we do have patients who will record those as like an issue that they're having, and it will keep track of everything that you log. So you won't lose any logged items. So you would log it as like a symptom. You would put freezing and then you would see the bubble, but there's no sensor in place to say you're freezing right now.
And if you are going, so can you use Siri to enter how would you do it? So you push the side of your phone.
and you say log freezing into StrivePD. You can also tell her to open StrivePD as well. So you can say open StrivePD. Once you're in the app as well, you can say, you can click the side. Now it's crazy. It's a side button now. But you can click the side button and say log freezing. And then it will log it.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's really convenient as long as people remember to do that. And then Steve was asking if are there any plans to have an Android version?
Yeah, we get this question a lot. I know people are super dedicated to their Android versus Apple device. Our hope is that we can get it onto an Android platform. Right now, we have a very strong partnership with Apple, which is why it's all Apple based. I don't want to say yes, for sure. It's not going to be, I don't think anytime soon, like not within the next 6 months. So unfortunately, but hopefully in the future, we want to put it onto other devices besides just Apple.
Is that because of the sensors that Apple?
Yeah, on the Apple Watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sensors that we created alongside Apple, they're very protective of keeping with an Apple.
Okay. Let's see. And are there any things like that you guys are working on that are on the horizon, like things that you might be adding to the app other than what we've talked about?
Yeah. So we have this, and if anybody has the app now, they know that they get them. And we get a lot of feedback. They're not very useful. They're called insight reports. They get them weekly. We're upgrading them right now. So hopefully in a tentative date is like February of 2024, we'll have a revamped insight report. So it'll basically be sent directly to patients' emails, and it'll be like a very comprehensive report of everything that happened in the last month. So there'll be monthly reports, and they will we're doing 100 user test right now to make them as optimized as possible. So we have a lot of great patients giving us feedback on what they want to see out of them, to try to make everything a little bit easier, because we've gotten a lot of feedback from patients that they like having something they can print out and bring into their doctor's office, something they can read and hold and everything like that. So those will hopefully make it a little bit easier. The text and the graphs will be a little bit bigger, so better for like that visualization as well. And then hopefully also, which we've gotten a lot of feedback on, I don't have a better date yet, but a web portal access. So also everything's a little bit easier. People can click around a little bit better. So we're going to hopefully have that for patients as well.
Oh, that's great. I just thought of one thing that I haven't seen, and I don't know if that's something you have or not, but having to do like testing your voice, your vocal power.
Yeah, so we've heard this before. Right now it's in like the testing phase, but that's a very good idea. Very cool, because I know that that's also a big part of it. So we have there's quite a few. We've gotten some really amazing suggestions and ideas from clinicians and patients. Another big one that I know that's in the development stage is video, like being able to take video and have that saved onto the app and onto the platform, so that you can show walking like gait issues, or show the tremor in real time when it's happening. So that's another thing that we're working on as well. So great suggestion. But yeah, there's a lot of, we have a really great population of people using the app, and they're very open with suggestions. They give us really great feedback, and hopefully we're doing a good job of listening. It's really important to us to try to keep the app as optimized, as patient-centric as possible, especially because it was created by Aura. It was a big mission of hers to have this be accessible and have it be useful to PD patients. So we're really hoping that we're doing the community proud, and making the changes that are needed to be made to make it really useful for everyone with PD.
Yeah. Well, I think it looks like something that people could definitely benefit from. And then especially like if they're going to exercise and when they should take their medications, or, just juggling the medicine is so helpful.
Awesome.
So anyway, well, thanks for doing what you're doing. Do we have any other questions? No, I think we're good. So
awesome.
That was really informative. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me. Yeah, and if anybody wants to download it, it's free to download in the App Store. So download it today. And then if you want your physician to partner with us, just go to our website. You can go to strivepd.com, and you can get a lot more information there as well.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Well, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for listening today. And if you have any other questions, you can always put in the comment section. And have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.